The Goons are back at it again on Krunch Time. Mad Max and Kruck are live right now.
All right, what's up, everybody? Welcome into Krunch Time, the last one from Avila University. As always, we're going to start it off the same way we always do. Max, how you doing?
I'm doing great, Kruck. How you doing, man?
Matt, feeling good. We got the round table today. We got a bunch of people. We got Loagnn Freeman, Garret Tipton, Tim Hackett, Jaris. We got the whole cast here. We got a couple other stragglers who might be coming in later. We don't know. If they show up, they show up. It's like an all-you-can-eat buffet. The food's not reserved for anybody. So, you know, I didn't say we were going to do any sports, but we're going to just go over a couple things. We have Tim Hacksaw Hackett, the hockey man himself.
I guess so.
I mean, tell us about the playoffs right now, man.
Well, I mean, it's safe to say that this is not the NHL's playoffs that anybody expected to start with. I've been a card-carrying Bruins fan for about 15 plus years now, and they were the best regular season team in recent NHL history and one of the best of all time, and they lost in the first round, which is not
Also, overtime goal by an ex-Maverick. Just
Mm-hmm.
throwing that out there.
that series.
Yep.
Carter Verhaeghe.
Yeah,
Oh, he's rubbing it in.
Yes, I didn't even realize that.
He's rubbing it in.
I did not realize
The
that.
cameraman Tipton rubbing it in. Don't forget the song.
Maverick gave me a hockey. He gave me a hockey fact that I didn't know. So
All right.
That's a first, baby. Look at that.
So, one series people didn't expect. Another one is the Toronto Maple Leafs, who hadn't won a first-round series in about a dozen years. They actually win against Tampa Bay Lightning, which had been in the Cup final for the last 3 years. So that's a surprise. Take that one, Tipton. And the Seattle Kraken, in their second year of existence, first ever trip to the playoffs, they defeat the reigning Stanley Cup champs, the Colorado Avalanche, in 7 games. So there's that's 3 series that I don't think anybody would have really expected, all going the way of the underdogs. So I think the Stanley Cup playoffs are wide open. I did pick the Hurricanes to win going in. I had them beating the Bruins in the Eastern Conference Final. They're my favorite still, obviously, but I think they would be the betting favorite right now. I also like Dallas out of the Western Conference, so those are my tips right now. But I think it's wide open, and I'm excited for the second round to start.
All right, speaking about playoff series aren't going according to the script, because the NFL only scripts their leagues, not the NHL. The NBA playoff series are not going the way they want to, and we have Kansas City's biggest Knicks fan here to explain it for us.
That proves it.
Yeah, you know what? I guess I'll start with the Knicks because, you know, Kruck had to get me all in with the Knicks topic, you know.
Knickerbockers.
That old Knickerbockers.
Well, they are your team, right?
Yeah, they are my team.
Okay.
I can't deny it. I can't deny it.
It only took 60 episodes to get this.
It really is, to clarify that I was a Knicks fan. I kept talking about every episode about the Knicks, right? But getting to the Knicks here, current time, right? I mean, right now, I'm scared for him at the moment against the Heat. I mean, looking at it, Jimmy Butler, if he keeps playing like he did back in the Bucks series, the Heat are going to probably a chance to beat him in 5 or 6 games. I mean, you look at it, too. Also, Bam Adebayo is huge as well. If Bam Adebayo can be helping out for the Heat, him and then others, especially Max Strus, I always like how he plays and shoots the 3-ball. If he comes out and makes a lot of plays, the Heat can beat the Knicks in this series. But the Knicks need to trust on Jalen Brunson.
Yep.
Jalen Brunson has to be that guy, and Julius Randle cannot be injured throughout this series. He needs to be healthy. If he can't be healthy, I don't see the Knicks winning it against the Heat. I see the Heat winning it in 5 games. Now, getting to the other games real quick, right? Eastern Conference, Celtics and the Sixers, right? I think those games are going to go down to 6 or 7 games. Just looking at it, I mean, Jason Tatum has to be that guy going into it. If he's not, I don't see the Celtics finding a way. And another person that we're also got to keep an eye on is Joel Embiid.
Oh, for sure.
What's his health going to be like? Remember, back in the series against the Nets, he got injured. And they had to wait a whole time, a week, to see if he would be all right. Well, that's what happened in the case. Now he's still not available. Now they're saying they might put him in depending on game-by-game basis. But we'll see what happens, right? But right now, I'm going to still pick the Celtics in 7. But I'm going to say in 7 games. But I can see the Sixers finding a way to win it because I see how the Celtics are. It's just 1 game, right? I think if you look at it, if it's just 1 game, I don't think the Celtics are going to be messing with it. They're going to win in 7 games, in my opinion. So, that being said, I got the Celtics and Heat looking at it. If I had to choose right now in the West, right, you look at the Nuggets and the Suns. The Nuggets are winning this series. I mean, you already saw in the first 2 games how the Suns are. They are not themselves right now.
No.
I mean, Kevin Durant, I mean, why is he not playing defense when he has to not play defense on plays against top players?
Well, that little kid stole his talent when he touched the ball together, remember?
I thought that was the kid.
Good old Space Jam.
Yeah, I think I've seen that kid hit a 3 from across the park.
But no, he hasn't been himself in the series, though. I mean, DeAndre Ayton as well. I mean, you'd think he would step up, too, for the Suns. Has not happened. Devin Booker, too, played defense and offense in that first series against the Clippers. Has not done it so far against the Nuggets.
No.
And Jamal Murray and Nikola Jokic. I mean, Nikola Jokic gets a double-double every night. I see the Nuggets just winning this series pretty easily.
Nikola Jokic does get a double.
And really, he does. I mean, he gets already like 16 rebounds, and he has like 30 or 20 points or whatever it can be.
It's bad.
Now, looking at it, this Lakers, I don't know, right? Last series before we keep going, right, Kruck? Lakers-Warriors series starts tonight, right? That is going to be an interesting series to me because you got the two best players right now, LeBron and Steph Curry. I mean, right now, both of those players, how they play, those are the best players right now in the NBA. And I say, looking at it, though, the problem is the Warriors, and they still have this cast that is still going to be the same looking at it from what they had a couple years back. And they're the same team. They won it last year, guys. This is not just a team, even though they were horrible on the road going in the regular season, they're still doing fine right now in the playoffs. I mean, give Sacramento Kings credit. I think they're going to be a team that does well in the future. They're going to do awesome. I really do. I mean, Malik Monk, De'Aaron Fox, they're going to be a great team. I already see
I
Krunch
just hope they all
shaking his
stay
head.
together.
I think
Yeah.
everyone knew the Warriors, like Steph. This is Steph. Clay.
Well, I'm not saying that. I'll look at this.
I want Iguodala.
You see the coaching over there, the street clothes? Oh my god.
The Warriors
that's
are
funny.
so battle tested, man.
Yeah.
They really are. And I think that's going to be the case going in this series against the Lakers. I think that experience, and the problem is, how is LeBron going to be in this series?
Yeah.
If LeBron can act like he can help other players in the series, I think the Lakers have a shot. If LeBron feels like he's got to carry every time, playing every minute like he does, then there's a problem for the Lakers because he's going to get tired out. We saw that in the Memphis series when they lost the game by 30 points. So that's going to be a key in this series. So give me the Warriors and Nuggets right now in the West, and give me the Heat, and give me the Celtics as of right now.
Okay. Moving into the, we talked about NHL, we talked about NBA, let's talk about NFL draft. Who are the winners and losers from the draft, Logan?
All right, so I'd say a loser for the draft is definitely Denver Broncos. I'm a Raiders fan, so that's my natural pick, but they also did very awful. So, they could have done a bit better.
Not a great draft.
Could have been more versatile, a lot less predictable. I'd say winners in the draft is definitely the NFC, and then for the AFC, I'd say Raiders and Chiefs. Just because the Chiefs picked exactly who they needed to pick when they needed to pick them, they didn't reach for anyone, and the Raiders kind of they didn't draft for the fans like they normally do, and they kind of drafted for what they needed. And I feel like the AFC West is specifically a lot of teams in the AFC West and the AFC in general went edge rushers trying to get to those AFC quarterbacks. Wilson didn't do it that good for Denver last year, but he works off of familiarity. He works off of he's a general. He needs to have a flow with his guys, and I feel like he'll have a better flow. That does not mean he's going to beat my team or even the Chiefs for that matter, but. The AFC has really good quarterbacks, excluding Garoppolo, who's more of a clock managing, guy who I think will be good for what we're trying to do.
Well, I will say one thing about Russell Wilson, and it's during his summer workouts, I believe it was last year before he ever took a snap with the Broncos. I think I saw him wearing a sports bra while doing some passing out in the backyard, so I don't know if that's who I want being my quarterback if I'm a Denver fan, but...
Whoa.
I mean, his pecs are bigger than my pecs, but I don't think that's the style that Nike's going for here.
Anyways, I'll say this quick comment to get us at least a little more on topic before we move on to fun things, right, Kruck? I was going to say real quick, my winners that I thought, in the AFC, give me the Houston Texans. Houston Texans, they, to me, getting C.J. Stroud. Well, first of all, yes, everyone knows from the shows, everything, I'm an Ohio State fan from Columbus, Ohio. But in real reality, though, that's a good pick, though. Getting C.J. Stroud and then getting Will Anderson, the next pick, that's a smart idea. I was not expecting that because I was at the draft. I'm like, whoa, the Texans moved up to number 3?
Yeah.
And then they got other great picks later on. I mean, Tank Dell in the 3rd round, that's a big-time pick for the Texans. And then I'll say later on, not the first round for the Lions in the NFC, but later on, the Lions had some good picks.
You didn't like the Jahmyr Gibbs?
Nah, listen, I thought for the Lions, they needed someone not like Jahmyr Gibbs.
They needed a front office guy. They should have drafted somebody for their front office.
Well, I personally didn't like for the Lions the Jack Campbell pick though when it was the Iowa. I thought I was like,
That was
granted,
questionable.
It was a questionable pick. He's a second round talent.
Yeah.
He is not a first round talent. So, but the later rounds they did a great job, and I'll give the Lions a lot of credit. And that could be something to watch because hey, that NFC North is wide open now with Aaron Rodgers gone. So we'll see what happens.
Lions are a team on the rise for me. I didn't like the first round at all. I'm very much on the no need to draft a running back in the first round trade.
Yeah.
They had 4 different running backs on the team
Robinson.
last
I thought
year.
they were fine with DeAndre Swift, but
Me too.
and then they
Well, they
instantly
got
traded
rid
to
of
the
the
Eagles the day
DeAndre
after.
Swift then later.
So I thought that was a
Yeah.
weird. If Gibbs stays healthy and can be productive as a running back rotation and as a rookie, then okay. But I think Max's other point is right on. That division is wide open, and I think even with those moves, you can make the argument that the Lions are a favorite to win that division. Which is,
Lions.
I'm not sure something I thought I would ever say. So.
Yeah, well, it just shows a lot of improvement, especially with this guy. I mean, the last couple of years watching the Lions, especially on like Thanksgiving or something, you're just kind of like smacking your face and like, how in the world this franchise just get this low? But it definitely looks like they could turn it around with some of the draft picks they got.
I'm just gonna say, y'all keep sleeping on the
That's what I was
Bears.
just gonna say.
Justin Fields is gonna come out gunslinging. Jordan Love, he's gonna love getting those L's week in, week out. Jared Goff is gonna choke away another win every once in a great while. And then who's the other team that I'm thinking about? The Vikings? Yeah, the Vikings might actually win it.
I was gonna say, there isn't much you can say about
Didn't they
this.
draft?
Enjoy this 1 year.
Who did they draft?
Didn't they get Jordan Addison?
They did.
That's not fair.
No.
Well,
It's not
because
fair.
that was when it started the runs of the wide receivers. Because Njigba was started first, and then it went on Johnson.
I think they
Justin
should have drafted
Jefferson
an
and
O-line.
Jordan Addison together will be scary.
That is scary.
You've got the best running back in the league. If you give him another O-lineman, you're nearly unstoppable.
Well,
The Vikings.
Yes.
we talk about scary things. Let's talk about funny things. What was your guys' favorite fun topic that we ever did on Crunch Time? Garrett, I'll start with you.
So, and I think Max is going to agree with me on this one. I think it's got to be a mascot madness. You know, whenever we came through and we picked out different mascots, and that, all the silly mascots from the narwhal to the banana slugs.
Fighting pickles.
Yeah, the fighting pickles.
orcas.
That was.
You guys
probably
keep
one of my
sleeping on the
gonna say
purple
the
cows.
purple
cows.
The purple
Purple
cows and the
Dartmouth
Dartmouth
kegs.
kegs.
Dartmouth kegs.
Yeah,
Aren't
the
you
kegs.
scarred by the blobs or something?
Listen, and so that was. I wish we had Keaton Ashby here, right? Because Keaton was so really looking at me. He had faces too every time I said I didn't like the blue blouse. This is true. He did. His face was so serious that he just looked over
face from
and he was just like, Max, why are you so pissed at the blue blob? And they kept going next round. I kept not picking the blue blob. He gets another face that looks at me. It was just so funny, but it's so all the drafts basically that we did, right? I think all of that really helped out. And it was just something that created the show to make it fun what it was, right? Just doing random drafts that I would have not expected. I mean, we just did logos a little bit ago with Jaris. Right. I mean, we did that kind of stuff. We've done presidents in the past. I mean,
So what was your favorite, Jaris?
I would say the Thanksgiving draft with you guys.
For sure.
It was extreme. It was such a good time, man. Just on the whiteboard, taking down foods.
That was before we knew how to draft. We kept giving
Yeah,
Max
no,
the
yeah.
first pick.
Yeah.
and I kept getting the good ones, but turkey, mashed potatoes, and gravy.
Yeah, we had an
Did I
unfair
get
draft.
did I get
Max
mac
had
and
an
cheese,
advantage,
too?
but
Who got mac and
got
cheese?
mac
You guys let him get
I know
mac and
it
cheese,
wasn't
too.
me.
That's
It
not
wasn't me.
fair.
I don't remember.
Mac and cheese,
We'll have to
mac
take a
and
replay.
might
to
have
see
been-
no,
that
I
video.
definitely
Did you
got
take the
mac
mac
and
Didn't
cheese.
you take ham too?
Yeah, there's no way I'm passing my Aunt Beth's mac and cheese.
Did you take duck?
Oh, I took duck.
Yeah,
Of
you
course
took
I
duck.
did. All right, Mr. Hacksaw, what was your favorite one?
I think that the mascot madness just perfectly encapsulates this show. Like I think it's just like a prime example of the combination of off the rails but also pointedness that you cultivated on this show, because it's like it's total nonsense. Like it's just built out of something that like really doesn't even exist, and it doesn't. The results don't matter, right? But like none of that's an insult. Like it's all meant it's meant to show that like you can turn something that is completely crazy and turn it into something that everybody has fun with, and then we can talk about however many months later and remember fondly. So I mean, like I don't remember any of the details. Like we don't remember who drafted what. And
No.
Honestly, I
What
bet
is
we
not
should
really
just
happening.
go back after this and just go rewatch those drafts. I kind of want to do that now.
And the thing is, that would be an enjoyable thing. Like, and you've turned this into something that people look forward to. The fact that people would consider going back and watching old episodes that we were on, so we've already seen before. I think that's it's just a testament to what you and Max have built with this show, and I'm just super proud of you for that.
What's your favorite, Logan?
Yeah, I'm with Tim on that. Although I wasn't on the mascot draft, but I was on the tournament. That was the episode I was on.
Yup.
It was the tournament, and so I was rooting for the Rays and Cajuns. They didn't make it far. I thought they would win. They're actual people, but it was pretty interesting just to see, because especially like Tim was saying, on this show we get to elaborate on like the details, like the what I'm talking about, the thing with the unicorn, the narwhal. Yes, the narwhal. It has a unicorn thing on his head. It's practically a sword.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So of course that one's gonna go far. The blue blob's just trapping everything. I don't really know how that thing went. No, seriously.
Interesting fact, my 6th grade league basketball team was actually the Raging Cajuns.
Oh, wow.
And we won the championship.
Okay.
Yeah.
See, I told you.
Here's
We stole it from Louisiana Monroe.
I knew it wasn't true.
We didn't know what it meant, but it sounded cool, so. Yeah, we won it all, so.
The spring break this year, Max actually recorded his part and sent it in. And I don't know if you guys actually watched that one, but we did best ballpark foods from all of the 30 MLB ballparks. And we went through and we found like the most unique one from each one, right? That was what you did. And I mean, the winner of it all was the Atlanta Braves blooper burger. Okay, now ready?
Yeah.
Everybody
let's hear it.
empty your stomachs.
Let's hear this.
Get the drool started.
Let's hear this.
There's 2 chicken strips, 2 hamburger patties, 2 bratwursts, 2 hot dogs, mustard, relish, ketchup, hot sauce, barbecue sauce, lettuce, tomato, onions, pickles, coleslaw, all between 2 Texas toast buns for $26.
For the that wait 20. Honestly, I'm not gonna lie.
But
For
here's
stadium food,
food
26
coma.
bucks. I'm a little bit surprised.
I'm not eating that.
But here's what came in second. Here's what came in second. What's the worst team in the MLB right now?
Go Royals.
Oakland Athletics.
The
Oakland Athletics.
Yes, I was gonna say.
They have what's called party pops.
What's that?
Party pops, right? You guys, when you were little, you ate the little orange push-ups, right? The little orange push-ups that would come up,
Yeah, I know
right?
what you're talking about.
They make alcohol-infused push-ups, and there's 60 different flavors. There's flavors in raspberry, all the way down to pina colada,
Why does no
Jack
one
and
go to the
Coke.
games?
Aren't the Athletics moving to Vegas now?
They're moving to Vegas, yeah.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, we just
that was
adopted
probably
all
my
them.
favorite draft. My favorite off-camera moment was the ASMR from Garret Subway sandwich.
Okay. So let me put this in perspective. So when I was producing the show last year, we'd get out of walkthroughs for football, and Kruck's like, all right, I'm gonna go to the studio. And I said, all right, I'll be there in 15 minutes. I would go to Subway, I would get a Subway sandwich, and I would eat it either while we were recording or as I was setting up. And there were a couple times we sat down after we were set up, and I may or may not have started doing ASMR with Subway. And let's just leave it at that. Let's just say there's a lot of good sandwich eating.
You decide.
Maybe a little bit of chip eating. You guys can decide. You can imagine what that is. That's up to you. But yeah.
No. What was your favorite off-camera thing, Tim?
Oh man. I cannot. All I can say is that there have been multiple tech issues, which probably comes down to me over the years, and many times things that we thought were recording were not, or things that we thought weren't recording were, which always makes editing fun when you don't have something that you thought you had, or you do have something that you did not think you had, and then you get to go back in and relive something for a second or third or 500th time in some cases. So I can't even think of a concrete example of this.
So I can actually think of one, because I definitely did this a few times when we were doing some just audio only episodes and I was recording everything on my computer. There were definitely a couple times where as soon as I hit done on the record, I'd accidentally hit a button and the entire recording of the episode would get deleted.
Yeah.
We had to go back.
That's- I remember
Yeah,
that.
it happened a handful of
And
times, and
Kruck,
we had to
Kruck
go
was
back
so
and
pissed
re-record
that night.
episodes.
So good at those episodes,
More
too.
than once.
Yeah.
It happened like twice.
You
I
don't
think.
wanna-
Yeah.
You don't want to go back and do
Yeah,
it.
we were getting.
Nuh-uh.
It's just not. There's not the same, admiration for the episode.
I know, that's literally the
'Cause you're
definition of
on
a sloppy
trout.
second.
It's like, and Garret is like.
I will say it's a lot more loose though.
Yeah.
And Garrett's is so passionate about this stuff that he was always like just, because that was like Garrett's first year here, so he just wanted to contribute to the team really, and he did everything so well, taking our measly production that we put together our first year of this show into actually making it look like a real finished product. And like poor Garret was just so like downtrodden every time that it happened. He's just like, man, I ruined it. Like I'm gonna cut myself from the team, type of deal. Like he's like, I don't know why you have me on here. And then the rest of us said, like, Max and Kruck are sitting there like, all right, there's an example, because like I at that point I was not like on the show because I had like other things to do and I was getting in trouble for not doing work. And so like I was sitting in the side of this room like on my computer trying to not click ridiculously loudly during the episode.
Yes,
And then
yes.
like Garrett's so just like sad, downcast about losing the recording, and like I go back in and like set everything up a second time, like make sure it's recording and all this stuff, and I just see like Kruck like sitting on his chair, just like, you can't see me right now, but like he's just like literally like sitting there like not moving, like trying to not be mad, and then just like they said like they just put like everything that they had done like to prep it for like the previous 30 minutes just for it to have disappeared. And Garrett's like, oh no, this is terrible, like I screwed it up, and like literally speaking, yes, but like it's okay. Like so I had to I was like trying to console Garret, and then Max is over here like, all right, bro, like, we'll just do it again. Like, let's just do it again. Like let's go.
Talk about the Knicks again. Max is over here like, run it back.
And then I went over and sat by my computer and listened to them say the same thing again, and Kruck tell the same jokes. And sometimes we were ready for the jokes, and you could see everybody's like, all right, here comes the joke. Everybody's like, and sometimes
Funnier the second time.
yes,
Oh,
exactly.
my
And I don't think any of us can relate to any of that.
Max, what was your
I-
favorite off screen?
I need to take a moment because man, that was funny.
If you
It's
know,
true
you
though.
know.
It's true though, because I remember a couple times when we had those problems, I always felt like I wanted to keep going with it. I was like,
That,
man, I want to
backspace
keep saying
button's
another
dangerous.
take. No, because I always thought my takes were always like, some of them were pretty.
No, yeah.
Look, Max just
you
wanted
know-
to get his Knicks takes. He just wanted his
Yeah,
Knickerbockers
I just
takes.
wanted.
That's it.
You know it's a hot take when Tim Hackett's sitting over here looking away from us, typing on his little computer, and you say something, you just see the finger stop, and the head just
Yeah.
slowly turns around. You're like, okay, I caught
that.
someone's attention.
That probably my best like off kind of camera stuff was like seeing everyone when I was like checking everyone afterwards, like stuff. Whether it was with Kruck, whether it was with Jaris when we was on, like people were just talking like, man, why did you talk about this kind of thing? Like why? Kruck's over here like, Max, I'm like, that was a really hot take that you said during the show. I mean,
Dude,
there was some. Listen, me and Kruck, for real though, with this podcast, we've had some interesting debates that we've had.
We have.
We've had some very interesting debates that we've talked about.
And this is
man, we
exactly
got-
how Max became Kansas City's biggest Knickerbockers fan.
Absolutely.
Oh my, that's sad.
Yeah.
That's not sad at all. That's not sad at all.
I like that we just put Kansas City in there. It's
Yeah.
Even though it's for just it's. 'cause
Well, I mean, there's probably a
we
bigger
are
Knicks
here.
fan in Columbus, so you can be the biggest Knicks fan
Yeah.
here.
Yeah, that's tough. I mean, there's nothing wrong with that.
What
All
was
right.
your favorite off-screen moment, Logan?
I'd say you guys arguing off camera, just in general. No, seriously.
No,
you guys being in debates, on the podcast, it's interesting, and you can tell it's heated. But when you guys are off camera, it's so expressive. Half the time you're even standing up. I've seen times where Max has got bloodshot red and stood up. And Kruck still just chilling down, just chilling. I'm like, bro, Max is heated. They're just going back and forth, man.
It's true though. I got.
And then Tim's just a bystander.
When I get so into debates, it's just true. I get so into it kind of stuff. It's just like. You know.
No, most definitely. Max get into it. And then,
Oh my God.
seriously, go back to the shows and you'll see. Max, watch. just times that by 3, and then that's the off-screen arguments.
Yeah, no lie.
Seriously,
Dude, honestly, like,
the hand movements. Though.
here's a fun one for you. The original Krunch Time soundtrack, like the original Krunch Time theme song. Does anybody know what song it was?
Can I do like a little performance?
No, you can't. You got to name it or who the artist is.
I can do the tag.
Say it.
Ooh, is that Mike Lang?
Absolutely. Mike Lang used to go here, and I was like, hey, I need a song for Krunch Time.
Disrespectful. He used to run this joint.
And he literally recorded one of his songs named Poppy, Poppy, and like it had literally no words in it other than his ooh, is that Mike Lang? That was the only word in it. And I'm like, all right, clip me out a portion of that doesn't say that, and that's gonna be the Krunch Time theme song. And he comes back with like 4 different options, and he like purposefully kept putting that sound in it, and I was just like, whatever, I'll take the second option.
Throwback to season 1 where we were in the conference room and we've consistently tried to bring other people into the fold, which you guys have done an amazing job of recently. But we basically had the stand-up tryouts where we had another member just like sit on a different part of the conference room table and like give their own readouts about whatever it was, NBA playoffs or whatever the topic was, and then we would come back to you guys for a reaction to those takes. So, learning some production quality as well. But
Justin Brown.
Oh yeah, the biggest Clippers fan ever, right?
That's
Lakers
why.
fan,
That's
Lakers
why I
fan.
was thinking about it. Big difference.
Well, I remember the thing about Justin is because we did what was a March Madness bracket.
Yep,
And
yep.
he's not a big college basketball kind of guy. So I told him coming in, man, just pick random teams when you go in there and see if it works out. And some of the teams he picked, I was like, because he picked, one of them was a 15 seed, I remember. There was a couple others he picked like it was a 12 seed. And I'm like, I didn't expect you to pick a 15 and a 12 seed. I didn't tell you to do that. And you just go ahead, you try it.
I didn't tell you to turn your brain off. I just said look at the numbers.
I just said do what you got to do. So.
Only told you to blow the bloody doors off.
But no, like I said, Tim's right though. Back from season 1. I mean, Kruck knows it started with headsets, everything else.
Oh yeah.
And then we went to
I started with hair.
Yeah.
I started with hair.
This-
We've come a long way.
And yes, we went here to the conference room, and we just went to just your room space there, Kruck.
Yeah.
Do the rest of it. I mean, how it's been going on is it's very awesome. You know what I'm saying? Just from my point of view for this, I mean, Tim and Kruck know this. When I first got in there, I was a wreck basically. I was nervous going in. I had no idea what I was gonna do. I was like, podcast? What in the world? What is this gonna be like?
Podcast? Don't talk about the podcast.
And then listen, my first impressions of Kruck, I mean, man,
Probably hasn't changed much.
It probably, I mean, man, it's from the first time. I mean, he's just such a, I don't know. He's just him. He's basically just him. You know what I'm saying? He's a genuine type of person. You just can't change that. You know what I'm saying? You can't fake it what he is. I mean, that's just who Kruck is. So, and I kept going on with it, and I mean, it brought me confidence up so much, and probably with everybody else too. And whether if we're just a guest on there, just helped out. I mean, Kruck is just that type of guy that just helps out with different types of things. Whether we do with everything else. I mean, when I started doing games with him, I was nervous too to be on the games. I was literally, I was going in there. I had no idea what I was saying, and then when I kept going on, I didn't need Kruck with that kind of stuff. And it just shows like the evolvement that's happened with it. And I've helped out other people a lot doing stuff too. I mean, I've helped out Loagnn sometimes with doing stuff with broadcasts and everything else, whether it's CK, whether it's other people. And that's very awesome to see that just from my point of view. And I don't know, I appreciate it, man.
I've only been told 2 things in the 9 years that I have been announcing. The very first day I started announcing, the athletic director at my high school handed me the microphone and said, "Don't swear." That was the first rule, right? The second rule was the second time Max and I were ever on the same call together.
Right, yep.
And the Timothy Hackett came up to me and he said, "Quit plugging Krunch Time. This is Avila Athletic Sports. We don't need to hear about Krunch Time every time out." And Max is over here like, "Why not?" And I'm over here like, "Yeah, why not?" And he's just like, "You guys can plug it twice. for one per game. That's it. And I was like, all right. But I mean, honestly, looking around the table, there's a lot that I have learned from every single one of you guys. Like Tipton, I knew nothing about a camera. I didn't even know how my own iPhone camera worked. And then like you came along and like now I'm working on like shutter speed and iOS and like all these different things. Yep, that one. Jaris, like you're just an animated guy. When you walk into a room, there's not like this like warming up period for you where you're like, okay, I kind of got to test the waters to see where it's going. You walk in and you act like you've already been in there for 2 minutes, right? Your ego's been in that room. They're like, oh my goodness, Jaris is showing up. And then Jaris walks through the door and they're like, Jaris is here. Like, honestly, I've adopted that from you. From you, Max, studying. Like, you study hard for both academics, for football, for the podcast. Like, the work ethic that you bring towards this podcast is something that is unmeasurable in terms of, like, any one of our skills. I mean, you put in more time and effort into Krunch Time than I think just about anybody else does. I mean, Tipton, he puts in a lot working on all of the post stuff and the like post-production, pre-production, all of it. And I mean, like, you're over here, like, after today, you'll be getting ready for 2 weeks from now's podcast. You'll just be like, all right, I got stuff going on. What do you want to talk about this?
Exactly.
Just like,
Probably will be me.
like, all right. I mean, Logan's the kind of guy, he walks in and he'll always keep his cool. Like, there's nothing you can say to shake Logan. Like, we can be sitting here and we can be like, yeah, the Las Vegas Raiders are the worst disgrace ever. John Madden should have never coached for him. And Logan will just be like, oh, whatever. Okay,
That's a
cool.
good point, but I disagree.
Yeah, but,
Something like that.
I mean, honestly, like Tim Hackett, like, Tim, much appreciated. You, like, brought this thing real. Like, at first, yeah, it was just a project, like, for an assignment, but, like, you took it from being an assignment to being an actual, like, podcast. You created something more than just, you know, an assignment. You created Krunch Time with us, and, you know, that's something I'll never be able to, like, show enough appreciation for. And, like, just from the bottom of my heart, like, all of you guys, like, obviously Krunch Time isn't my show. It's a mixture of basically all of ours. Like, everybody's been on it. Everybody has influenced it. Like, I can't point it out and just say this is one person's show. But Max, I got one more thing for you.
Just for me, or
Just for you.
everybody? Okay, I'm ready.
You were not my first choice for Krunch Time.
Man.
I remember Tim Hackett and I were talking about it, and I was like, I want to co-host, and
I had no idea anything about this before coming in, so
I wanted a co-host, and I was like, Tim, I want a co-host. And Tim's like, well, how about this Max Williams guy? And I was like, who's that? He's like, he's on the football team with you. I'm like, oh, he is?
Oh, no.
And he was like, yeah. So then that's when I started, like, looking at you, and I was like, okay, all right, I know who he is now. And I'm like, who else do we have? And he, like, gave me a list of, like, 2 or 3 other names. He's like, yeah, but they probably won't be there. They probably won't be there. Like, Max will be there. Max will do this. He will do this. And I was like, all right, if you can guarantee it, I'll give him a test run. So we put him on for one episode, and I mean, the literal first episode. Do you remember what the first thing we talked about was?
Man, all I remember is what I was wearing the first episode. I was wearing a Chiefs jersey the first episode, Patrick Mahomes jersey.
Kansas City Chiefs had just won the Super Bowl.
That's true,
For the
yeah.
first time with Patty Mahomes.
And I wore the jersey to sport. Even though, yes, I'm a Bengals fan.
And I walk in and I got all of my information on this Word document on my computer pulled up. I got like 4 pages for like these 4 topics we're talking about. Max talks for like 2 minutes, and all of a sudden all of my bullet points for the Super Bowl are gone. And I'm just like, well, that was all right. Let me go Google some more. And I mean, like you just brought so much information, so much more to the table than what I was expecting. And like, honestly, when I first met you and thought of you as a co-host, I really shortchanged you. And I'm honestly grateful that I gave you the chance and that you accepted the chance, because Krunch Time wouldn't be the same without you. I mean, yeah, we have fun, we tease you a little bit, we pick on everybody here a little bit, but I mean, like, we pick on you probably the most, and you take it with the most gusto. Like, you have never once just like backed down or shut down. You always come back with something good, and like, honestly, most of the time, it's something where, like, I start laughing, even though, like, you're picking on me, and I'm just like, okay, that's a good one. I can appreciate that.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, I credit Max to that, too, because Max, like, he's fiery. Like, he gets into it, but, like, he kind of puts himself in those situations. But with that being said, I feel like he knows that, and he's able to deliver, and like Kruck said, he's super prepared.
I always say this, right? Anything you have in a debate, you're gonna have fiery arguments, which you have, right? And I know that going in. I mean, we see like the debate shows now, you look at that, right? I mean, everyone's gonna have that stuff. I want to be the same way, and I'm like, well, I don't have to agree with everything people say. That's the world. None of us are gonna agree with everyone's gonna say. So I just went in there, and every time I'm just like, I'm gonna say what I gotta say. If you wanna say something back, I'm gonna say right back what I got at you. I don't know, that's just who I am as a person, kind of thing. So, I mean, to be honest with you, Kruck, I mean, granted, listen, I always enjoyed playing sports, and I always just like talking about sports, but doing this podcast more and more has got me like more excited to even talk about sports more in the future. You know what I'm saying? It's like, I came in learning more about stuff, whether it's UFC or WWE stuff. We talked about that a couple times. I have no idea about that stuff before coming in. Now I learned about it, I'm like, whoa, that's pretty cool stuff to learn about. And even golf. We talked about golf stuff a lot too with the Masters. I was not into golf at all. I'll be honest with you, I'm not the biggest golf fan. But when we started talking about the Masters, other stuff, I'm like, well, I like to talk about that kind of stuff. So, I don't know, just getting the wide variety of stuff that happened, I thought it was very cool.
All right, we're gonna end with a fun topic, and I'm changing it up on y'all. I'm not gonna make it easy for you guys. We're gonna go around the table, starting with Garrett, going to Jaris, Tim, Max, Loagnn, ending with me. The best athlete you can think of, no repeats, best athlete you can think of, with the letter M, either at the start of their first name or last name.
Well, all right.
M.
Already know someone's gonna take, you know.
Don't spill it for Tipton over here. Let's see if he takes the GOAT.
Question is, who are you thinking of as the GOAT? I mean, the first person I'm thinking of right now is Peyton Manning. Honestly,
That's a good pick for an M.
Name an athlete.
So it can be the last
You
name.
have
It
to
can be the
pick.
last name too?
Yes,
Okay.
first name or last name, and you
Okay.
have to pick whoever in your mind is the best left on the table. So are you going with
So that
Peyton
does help
Manning?
us out.
Yeah,
First
off the top
or
of my head,
last
that's the first
name.
one I can think of is Peyton Manning.
That gives us a
Go
little
for it.
Michael Jordan.
All right, he's got Michael Jordan. Tim, what are you thinking?
There's a bunch of ways that we could go with this, but I mean, Marion Hossa or Marion Gaborik from the NHL, but I'll one up you guys and pick somebody that nobody will choose, and I'll go with a double one for you. Oh no! Marie McCool, who was Tewaaraton Award finalist as the best player in collegiate lacrosse. I had to double check the facts because I knew I was
Okay,
She
okay.
was an attacker at UNC when I was covering Division I lacrosse, and she was the best player that I saw that year. So there's a double M for you, Marie McCool.
Max, who you got for the M?
Man, just looking it up right now, there's some good names actually.
there. No, this is Max Williams. This is ridiculous.
Man, I would have been so honored if
He's over here waving.
Still
I
make
know we
his
can't see
day.
me waving on this because it's an audio, but hey.
I'm trying
But
to
I'm
win.
gonna say Muhammad Ali.
That's a good
That was,
pick.
I literally
That's
thought
a
that
good
one
pick.
right after I
Ali.
said Peyton Manning.
That is a great pick.
Yeah, Muhammad Ali. I mean, one of the boxers been almost of all time. I mean, we all know some of the greatest, events that he actually went. Walt Frazier, one of them. I mean, there's a lot of them you can go with. But yeah, Muhammad Ali.
All right. Who you got, Loagnn?
Yeah. So, I'm kind of. He's not that bad. He's not. Floyd Mayweather. Yeah, I'm from Vegas.
Oh, that's a good one too.
Yeah. Undefeated, baby, till this day.
What you were going for?
Yeah.
Well,
I was trying to say Mike Tyson.
Nah, Floyd,
Just thinking of.
I
Tyson,
got to be honest
McGregor,
with you.
yeah.
I mean, there's a lot of names I was expecting to be thrown out. I was expecting Tyson. I was expecting Michael Phelps.
I was gonna get
my
that one.
goodness.
I was
gonna get
expecting Max Williams. But I gotta go with somebody who is disputably the GOAT. And I mean, depending upon what day it is, goes either way. Give me Lionel Messi. I think Lionel Messi would probably be the GOAT for most people in the southern half of the world and the northern
It's definitely
half.
Cristiano, but respectable.
If you put it into the world perspective, a lot of people probably would say Messi if you
Yeah.
think about it.
I would say
because-
either Messi or what Jaris
Yeah.
or Ronaldo. One
or,
of those
or
two.
Michael Phelps, and you put it in that regard too. With obviously the medals, gold medals. People know.
3/4 Ronaldo, probably though.
Probably, yeah. Most likely, if you put like a whole poll with that, probably would say Messi because of,
I feel like you can't get
I don't
beat.
know.
Like, you can't like get beat.
Wide, you're putting in that.
You know?
All right, last fun one before we let it go. It's the 60th episode. We're gonna do 2 of them. Go around the table and take a hot take, and I'll lead off with my hot take. The USA in the Paris 2024 Olympics gets second most golds. Somebody else beats them for first most golds in the Olympics.
Ooh, okay.
Man. Sports hot take?
Sports hot takes.
Sports hot take. Okay. I think the Baltimore Ravens make the Super Bowl next year.
Can't say enough.
That is a hot take.
AB, right?
We're doing
Odell?
boiling hot takes here.
But that's not broiling. That's like Fahrenheit 451.
Okay. within the next 3 years, the Baltimore Ravens make
What
the
you
Super
got,
Bowl.
AB?
Okay,
AB,
okay.
and
We'll take that one.
Alright, what was
Did
Lamar
you say
Jackson's
that? I got
extension?
one.
5 years.
5 years? Okay.
Tim?
My hot take is that I'm not surprised anymore to see. I'll play my card. I'll go back to the hockey roots. I'm not surprised anymore to see the number 1 team in any regular season lose in the playoffs. So the storyline is that the Boston Bruins were the best regular season team in recent history. Most wins, most points, best win-loss record. This is all undisputed. These are all facts, not just opinions. And they lose in the first round to an inferior team. But the NHL is so good. There's so many good teams. The Panthers aren't even a bad team by any means. And one of the arguments that I was reading just this week, just in the last couple of days since the series has been over, is that the Bruins were just so good this year is that they only lost about fewer than 20 games in the regular season. They had 62 wins. That they just weren't used to adversity. You're not used to losing consecutive games. And so once you go up 3-1 in the series, you lose games 5 and 6. Now you start to panic because you're not used to it. And you have a goaltender that had been so good all year. He struggles a little bit. Now you pull the plug on him and you have to bring in somebody new. This series did not surprise me. I was not surprised to see them lose in Game 7. And I'm not surprised to see the President's Trophy winners lose every year. And because we're used to it at this point, because it's happened time and time again, they don't succeed in the playoffs. And I think there's something to be said for having to battle through things consistently. Logan mentioned, like, the Golden State Warriors are so good, even though they were so bad for a couple of years after winning 3 in 4 years, if I'm right. But in that stretch, they use the term battle tested. These guys have been here before, they've won in the playoffs, they've won close games, they've overcome adversity with Curry and Clay. They both got hurt in those different runs. They've been used to it. So a team that was that good, they didn't lose back-to-back games, things like that. They're that dominant, they just didn't have the experience to overcome losing games that they weren't expected to. So should they have won the series? No question. Were people expecting it to end in 5? Yes. But it's not just this Boston team. There have been a lot of elite NHL teams in the regular season that don't make it through in the playoffs because other teams have to scrap to get in. You're hot at the right time, you're motivated, you want to prove a point, all this other stuff that I don't think you can quantify as well. But my hot take is that it's not a surprise to see. It was not as big of an upset as I think many people, including broadcasters and big media pundits, were predicting. It's not that big of a surprise to see a really good team not be able to come through when it actually matters.
All right, Garrett?
So for me, and I think I'm going to piggyback off of Jaris in the NFL here, I think we're going to see the Buffalo Bills with a Super Bowl ring here in the next couple of years.
Ooh.
I like that take.
Oh, I mean, that's not like a very hot take, but you look at the last couple of years, they've been good.
Yeah, and that's the thing is with the Bills, you know,
They've been one of the
Exactly, yeah. They do really, really well in the regular season. They've done nothing but the last couple off seasons but stack their roster with more receivers, more running backs, more linebackers, and plus we see them getting to these mid-playoff games, and it's like what Tim was just talking about. They just aren't battling back from adversity. Once we get that team to really come back and really be able to fight adversity and be able to fight, you know, maybe a touchdown or an interception or something happening, just gaining that momentum and coming back, I think we've got a lot of good players on there that are going to make a big difference and can win them a ring.
Can I just put it out here real quick? A Buccaneers fan was saying "we" when referencing the Bills. He said He said, we got this. Is there another bandwagon at the table?
Man.
Actually,
Max,
wait,
are
wait,
you
wait,
recruiting more New York sports fans over here?
Let me throw this out there. I do have a player from my hometown who is on the Bills, number 13 wide receiver Gabe Davis. So I have been following the Bills since he went from
Garret has been
UCF
He's been up
to
on-
Gabe Davis.
Yeah,
So like I love watching him
The
play
same
and I
guy
love
that
watching
had
that team.
4
Even
touchdowns
if
on
it
the
was
Kansas
just
City
from a
Chiefs.
fan perspective, Garret was right on Gabe Davis being a legitimate NFL player.
And look at that. When I said Gabe Davis was going to make a big difference in the NFL, no one said anything to me. Everyone kind of looked at me weird. And then what did I do? I was at work watching that Bills-Chiefs playoff game and watched
Man, he
Gabe
went
Davis break a record in his first season.
I think ETN's gonna be good.
Man, I'm over here seeing takes about we see the Bills trying to do something. I see the Ravens over here trying to do something. I'm like, man, we got to see if they get through Cincinnati possibly first. I don't know.
So
I mean,
what-
hey,
So
we
what
gotta
is
see.
your hot take,
So
Max?
it's not going to be anything NFL related though. We're not going to get anything there. I'm going to go MLB talk here. Kruck, I know you are the MLB guy, and you might want to hear this. The Pittsburgh Pirates are going to make a deep playoff run coming into this season.
No.
They're gonna make
no.
they're gonna make a deep playoff run. This is
Wait, is Willie Stargell in right field again?
Even
Yeah.
Ryan Reynolds.
Oh my.
nah, because we did Kruck, remember I did talk to you about this when we were on the podcast, right? I mean, one time I talked to Kruck, I said, Pittsburgh Pirates, man, how they are built right now, they got some good players. And last year Pittsburgh
Key Brian Hayes, they got O'Neal
Yeah.
Cruz, they got Brian Reynolds, they got Andrew McCutcheon. I mean,
when I look at it too, the whole NL itself, when you look at the Dodgers and the Diamondbacks, they're not the same team as they used to be. I mean, they're 17-13 right now.
the
and that's-
Diamondbacks are?
Well, the Diamondbacks are 16-13. According to this, 17-13 are the Dodgers.
Can't sleep on LA, baby.
But again, well, listen, we all know it's still way too early in the season. We talked about this. We're only 30 games in, right, Kruck? So, but if I look at it though, the Pirates, how they are, they got a lot of young players.
Connor Joe.
A lot of young players.
Connor
And,
Joe's look really good.
you know, and I think that's something to keep an eye on, especially in the Central. With, the Brewers, your Brewers team. I know they're going to be right there. Your Brewers team, listen, they might have a shot, but listen, I don't know. I just think there's something with the Pirates. I think they can make a deep playoff. I might not say it, they could go to a World Series. That could be a really hot take.
Is that the hot take?
That's your
hot
take.
take.
That's the hot take.
That's a hot take. Listen, listen.
I'm sweating over here.
It's even crazy when we thought about Jaris for a second when we put with the Ravens. But listen,
I'm rocking with it.
and listen, I don't know. You never know. I could see the Pirates making a deep run.
Let me give you a reasoned fan take, Max, because this week, starting Tuesday night, Pirates versus Rays in a series of the two best teams in the Major League Baseball to this point. There are only two 20-win teams, and no one would have expected that either way. So I think it's way too early to say like, oh, the winner of this series is going to likely be in the World Series for representing their league. I don't think that's likely.
True,
but I'm saying it's a great measuring stick for both
Yeah.
teams because I'm very curious to see how the Pirates pitching matches up with the Rays pitching and if the Rays offense can keep up with the Pirates offense. So it's I don't know. I'm very curious to see this series.
This new success by the Tampa Bay Devil Rays is from that new logo, right, Kruck?
Yeah,
Remember?
That new
talking about this.
throwback logo.
Was I not happy with the Devil Rays? What I forgot. Was I good at that? or
No,
was I
you
not?
like
Did
the
I like
color
the-
scheme.
I like the color
I don't
scheme.
think you picked it.
I don't think
Every
I picked
20
them. I
years.
picked somebody else.
You picked the Diamondbacks
The Kings
See,
are
that's
back
right.
to their old one. No one noticed.
because you hate birds.
The Kings?
They
and
wear
the
the
Hawks.
Devil Rays jersey. This
Yeah,
is
they
testing
did.
my faith. I think every Friday, I believe, every Friday home
I'm
game
not
And the
100%
Nuggets.
is the team philosophy. So
Text
they
me like
still
that
have
and I
to
can
call back to the team
Yeah,
history.
that's
So
awesome. I
Here's-
hope more teams start to do that.
Here's a fun one.
A lot of
Throwback
teams
jersey
a lot
back.
of teams are doing it right now.
I'm
I
with
know the
that.
Hawks, the Kings, and the Nuggets are all using their old logos.
Yeah,
it's
before we
Oh,
get
I love it.
before we get too far off topic, Logan, what's your hot take?
Other than the Lakers winning the finals, gotta beat the Warriors first. My hot take is gonna be, I don't know when, but Shakur Stevenson is gonna be the only person. He's the only person that's capable of beating Gervonta Davis. Now, I'm a fan of both of these guys. Don't get it twisted. But Shakur Stevenson is the only guy that is capable of beating Gervonta Davis. That's my hot take, and I'm not saying anyone's gonna win any belts or anything. But
I like
you
the
have to
pick, though.
look. You have to look at both of these guys and how they fight. Like I love boxing. I'm from Vegas. Like they're both really good.
All right. Well, this one ran a little bit longer than I wanted to, but I mean, there's a lot of people here, a lot of memories floating around the room. We talked about retro jerseys, and we're not going to get into a whole tangent about it. I just want to put this one out here because you guys know me. You know my humor. You probably know where this is going. The Chicago Dogs. On Wednesdays, they become the Chicago Wieners.
No,
Yep.
like a hot dog.
Like a hot dog.
Like
Yep.
a hot dog wing.
Not like Scrody from what college was
Not
that?
a wiener dog.
No, Scrody the mascot from Rhode Island Institute of Arts, but like a hot dog, like on a bun. Yeah.
Or a team.
So
Aren't the biscuits in like
maple biscuits.
Alabama or something?
Yes, Montgomery biscuits.
There you go, baby.
So all right, we're gonna wrap things up here from Tipton, from Jaris, from Tim, Hacksaw Hackett, from Max, the Knicks fan Williams, from Loagnn Freeman. This is Jake Krugenberg. We're signing off for the last time from Avalon University. Thank you all for your support, and we'll be back with Season 6 in a couple of weeks. Don't go anywhere.
Want to stay up to date on all Krunch Time episodes? Make sure to subscribe and follow on Spotify Podcasts, Apple Podcasts, and YouTube.